Hey everybody, Robbie Mack, and we're back. Part 2 of the Whaler refit. So in the first video you saw all the body work. As you can see on the left side of the bow here, there was an enormous hole. That actually happened on the flatbed coming home. We flatbedded this trailer home. I didn't trust it from where we found this boat, and it hopped off the crank, and the aluminum post went through the bow. So that was my first challenge to get the hull right. We did a pretty good job. Used all of the Jamestown Total Boat stuff, and I'm going to show you that at the end of this video, all the stuff I used to get this thing basically ready. This is the second coat of the wet edge. The reason I'm showing it to you that in this stage, I would have showed you the primer and everything else, but we had a ton of rain blow through here, and it was basically that system that was on top of Ian. And for all you Florida folks that may be watching on the southwest side, my heart goes out to you guys. Prayers that you guys get back on your feet, stay strong, and hope to see you all back soon at full strength. But as you can see, coat 2 of wet edge. It is harder to work with than I thought, but doable. I mean, this is my first time ever doing it at this level, but was able to get it done. Just very careful, learning as I go. But it's very light paint, which means it likes to run, so I have to be very careful when I was tipping it out. It's still kind of wet, so you're not seeing it totally shiny and smooth yet. It does dry out very smooth. The first coat dried out very smooth. As you can see, the transom section, it's coming out very well. I'm very happy with how that came out, because I did a lot of work back there. As you could see in that first video, you saw the fairing and all of the areas, and it looks really good. It's going to look really good when they go to put that motor on it. 4 brand new holes, and it'll be ready to go. But I'm pretty happy with it. It's coming out pretty darn good. Again, lots and lots of sanding, which is fine. Basically, I find that just laying everything out, knowing what I need, and then starting has been very helpful. This is the section here that I messed up on today. I had a couple of drips and runs, and I tried to kind of reapply at the end, which wasn't smart. I'll have to sand and fix that. You can see that seam kind of right there. That's a mistake, and that was the only one I really made today, which again, I put the 2-part primer on here, the epoxy primer. That went on very well, and then I put the first coat on, and then it rained for a long time, and with all that humidity it took longer than it should have to dry. And I wanted to make sure it was pretty dry, you know, really dry actually, and then get into it with sanding and everything else. But it really, the bow came out good, and that's the hardest part, because so much contour, you got to get underneath it. And honestly, it is, you know, when you're working like this, the boat's on the trailer, this isn't a shop. As you can see, I have it in a Shelter Logic tent that I bought. It's a 12 by 20. My buddy was gonna let me use his garage, but I just didn't want to do that. I figured the boat would be in there a lot longer than it should have. But I would have been pretty weather resistant in there. But I went this route. I got this thing cheap, 300 bucks, Amazon. And it's done the job. I could put the boat in here, it stayed dry. It's been pretty much covered since I bought it. I haven't let water get on it as I try to seal it all. But I'll show you some of the stuff I've used. So if you're thinking about doing something like this, this is pretty much everything that I have been using. Pretty much bought the cups, 12 bucks on Amazon. I got 20 of them. They're great, a little flimsy, but they got tons of measurements, markings on them. So it's great when you're mixing with the primer. You have the 2-part. As you can see, got the wet edge, very thin paint. I actually thinned it out 10% on the first coat, 5 on the second. I'm learning that when you tip it, you really can't have too much thinner on the brush. Anybody out there that's done a lot of rolling and tipping, I'll take a comment of constructive criticism, because, you know, it's about learning. It's what I did. I just got into it, and I'm learning as I go. 2-part epoxy primer, very good. The Total Fair, super easy to use. You mix it up, it's blue and yellow, turns a green color. As you can see, you see it in the previous video. You put it on there, it's hardened, it hardens up nice, easily sanded, And this is what I used to glass over the transom, and I used about 3 to 4 layers of this mat. Followed instructions step by step, mixed that up perfectly. Basically used these cups to do all that. I think I'm down to like 6 or 7 left. And this was really a helpful thing too. This is the structure putty, the polyester structure putty, and the hardener that goes with it. That's what I used to do a lot of the work in the transom where I had those tears at the top. As you can see, which when you go back over to the transom, I had some pretty big rips. I don't know how they happened. In this section here, and in this section here. And I ground it down, and there's really nothing back there. There was no foam or anything, so I was able to structure fill that, glass it over a little bit, and it came out perfect. It really did. It really sealed it up, and I mean, this is where most of the work was. I'll include a picture in the next video when I get everything done. I'm going to roll this out of here so you can see it in the sun. But you'll see the 8 holes that were in this transom from the previous motor that was on it. It was a lot of work to get that filled up, but it was worth it, and it's really making it come out nice. So I'm pretty happy with it. But so far so good. So this is part 2 with second coat. We're going to do one more coat and see where we're at, and if we got to do a fourth, we'll do a fourth. Just want to look right and cover everything well. So guys, thanks for tuning in. You know, if you watched the first one, I hope you enjoy this one. Drop a comment if you have any suggestions or something I can do differently. Again, it's always about learning, and I hope this helps somebody who's looking to get out there and buy a small boat like this, 17 whaler, fix it up, make it seaworthy, and get out in the water and enjoy yourself, because that's what it's about. Get outside. All right, folks, until then.